Imagine standing in the heart of ancient Rome, where marble glows under the sun and every street whispers power and desire, where beauty wasn't just about appearance, it was a declaration of status, wealth, and survival. 2,000 years ago, Roman women lived in a world dripping with luxury so extreme it would shock even us today. They bathed in milk, painted their faces with crushed pearls, perfumed their hair with oils brought from Arabia, and wore silk so rare it was worth more than gold. Their beauty was crafted through rituals of obsession and privilege, built on ingredients gathered from across empires, each drop of perfume, each shimmer of powder, proof of how far wealth could reach. But behind this golden glow hid a darker truth: danger, pressure, and power games masked beneath flawless skin. Because in Rome, beauty wasn't just vanity, it was survival, politics, and seduction intertwined. What did luxury mean 2,000 years ago? It meant living like a goddess, and paying the ultimate price to look divine. At the height of its power, Rome was a world unlike any other, a vast empire stretching from the sands of Egypt to the green hills of Britain, pulsing with wealth, art, and ambition. The streets were alive with traders, philosophers, and nobles draped in shimmering fabrics, their villas filled with marble statues, scented oils, and golden mirrors reflecting the glow of prosperity. For the elite, beauty was not just personal, it was political, a symbol of power that matched the grandeur of the empire itself. Imported silk from China, perfumes from Arabia, and cosmetics from Greece and Egypt turned Roman luxury into a living theater of status. Every feast, every gathering, every glance was a silent competition for perfection. To live in Rome's golden age was to live surrounded by magnificence, where comfort and excess were not just desires, but expectations, and where beauty became the most refined expression of empire itself. In ancient Rome, appearance was everything. It was the language of power, class, and desire. Roman women were consumed by the art of beauty, believing that perfection on the outside reflected virtue within. Their mornings began with rituals that blended vanity and devotion, cleansing with goat's milk, massaging with olive oil, and covering their faces with masks made of honey and crushed rose petals. Wealthy women imported saffron from Greece for their cheeks, kohl from Egypt for their eyes, and rare pearls ground into powder for their skin. Every detail mattered: the scent of their perfume, the shimmer of gold dust in their hair, the smoothness of their hands. But this obsession was more than elegance. It was competition, a constant race to outshine one another in a society where beauty meant influence. To be admired was to be powerful, and in the empire's glittering heart, women turned appearance into a weapon, mastering the art of allure in a world that worshipped perfection. In Rome, makeup was far more than decoration, it was transformation, a silent yet potent language of influence and desire. Women painted their faces not only to please but to command attention, crafting beauty that could charm, persuade, or even manipulate. Their skin was lightened with powders made from chalk or lead. Their cheeks blushed with crushed saffron, and their eyes darkened with kohl brought from distant Egypt. The lips were tinted with red ochre, and lashes brushed with soot to deepen the gaze. These pigments, gathered from across empires, turned an ordinary face into a symbol of power and luxury. Yet behind the glow hid danger. Many of these cosmetics were toxic, eating slowly at the very skin they adorned. But to the women of Rome, the risk was worth it. For a flawless face could open doors, win alliances, and maintain a place in the glittering social hierarchy. Makeup was their armor and their art, a way to sculpt identity in a world where beauty could rule empires. Fashion in the Roman Empire was a living portrait of power, status, and desire, woven with threads that carried the story of an entire civilization. The elite women of Rome draped themselves in soft, flowing stolas made of silk from China and linen from Egypt, fabrics so rare they shimmered like light itself. Every fold, every clasp, every color spoke of rank and refinement. Only the privileged could afford the deep purples dyed from Mediterranean shells, a color reserved for wealth and royalty. Their tunics were embroidered with gold, their sandals studded with jewels, and their hair styled into elaborate curls held together by ivory pins and golden combs. Perfumed oils scented their garments, and fine jewelry adorned every inch of exposed skin, turning each movement into a quiet display of elegance. To dress beautifully in Rome was to declare your place in society without speaking a word. Fashion was both armor and identity, a way to be seen, admired, and remembered in a world that valued appearance as much as virtue, and where every detail of dress reflected the grandeur of an empire that lived and breathed luxury. The Roman baths were more than places to wash. They were the glittering social hubs of an empire obsessed with beauty, status, and connection. Inside vast marble halls filled with steam and golden light, men and women from the highest ranks of society gathered not just to cleanse their bodies but to display their grace, wealth, and influence. Scented oils, rose petals, and exotic perfumes floated on the warm air as servants massaged skin with olive oil and scraped it clean with bronze strigils, leaving behind a glow that symbolized refinement and power. Conversation flowed as easily as the water itself. Alliances were formed, secrets traded, and reputations shaped within the echoing walls of these magnificent spaces. The baths offered more than comfort. They were the beating heart of Roman beauty culture, where the elite flaunted their polished appearances and the illusion of perfection. Here, under the flicker of oil lamps and the rhythm of fountains, beauty became public performance, an art of elegance and ambition that reflected the very soul of Roman luxury. Behind the polished faces and golden mirrors of ancient Rome lay the hidden cost of perfection, a price paid not in gold, but in pain, danger, and sacrifice. The glowing skin of noble women was often achieved with deadly lead powders that slowly poisoned their bodies, while perfumes and dyes came from crushed insects, burned minerals, and toxic plants. Beauty was a privilege only the wealthy could afford, yet it demanded endless effort and quiet suffering. Servants and slaves spent hours preparing oils, grinding pigments, and maintaining the luxury that others wore as a symbol of grace. Beneath the shimmer of jewels and the scent of roses, there was exhaustion, vanity, and the fear of fading youth. In a world where appearance determined respect, women were trapped in a cycle of constant perfection, an empire's pressure disguised as elegance. The pursuit of beauty, meant to empower, instead chained them to expectation, proving that even in an age of gods and glory, perfection always came with a price too high to truly bear. In the grand theater of Rome, beauty was more than ornament. It was strategy, a form of influence as sharp and effective as any weapon of war. Powerful women like Livia, Messalina, and Agrippina understood that a flawless face and graceful presence could sway emperors, shift alliances, and command respect in a world ruled by men. Their beauty became a silent form of politics, used to charm, persuade, and control, where a single glance could win favor or destroy a rival. Cosmetics, jewels, and perfume were not mere luxuries but instruments of dominance, carefully chosen to project strength beneath the illusion of softness. The Roman elite measured worth through appearance, and women learned to navigate this landscape with cunning precision, mastering the art of allure to secure survival and status. In marble halls and candle-lit banquets, beauty decided fates, built empires, and reshaped history, proof that in Rome, power did not always wear armor. Sometimes it wore a smile painted in saffron and gold. As the empire began to crumble, so too did the glittering illusion of Roman luxury. The marble halls that once echoed with laughter and perfume grew silent, and the silks that once draped noble women gave way to simpler cloth and humbler lives. War, famine, and moral reform swept through the empire, turning excess into sin and indulgence into shame. With the rise of Christianity came a new ideal: purity over pleasure, modesty over magnificence, and the painted faces and perfumed bodies of Roman women became symbols of a fading world. Mirrors that once reflected power now showed the emptiness left behind by decadence. Beauty, once a tool of empire and identity, was stripped of its grandeur, reduced to whispers of a past too extravagant to survive. The fall of luxury was not sudden, but slow and inevitable, like gold tarnishing over time. What had once been the heart of Rome's allure dissolved into memory, leaving behind ruins that still glimmer faintly with the ghosts of elegance, a reminder that even the most dazzling empires cannot outshine the passing of time. 2,000 years have passed, yet the echoes of Roman beauty still shimmer through time, whispering of a world that chased perfection with passion and pain. Their perfumes have faded, their mirrors have turned to dust, yet their longing, to be seen, admired, remembered, feels achingly familiar. Still chase the same glow, though our tools have changed. The empire has fallen, but the desire remains. The women of ancient Rome painted their faces to hold power, to be more than the world allowed them to be, and in their struggle, we see our own reflection. Luxury was their language, beauty their armor, and though centuries divide us, the human heart has not changed. It still seeks the same light, the same illusion of control over time. As the ruins of Rome stand beneath the sun, they remind us that beauty fades but stories endure, and perhaps that is the truest luxury of all, to be remembered not for how one looked, but for the mark one left on history's skin.